How my need for attention from another man almost cost me my 20 years marriage. Long story short, I cheated on my husband for 9 months. D-Day was in May 2020 when he walked in on my AP and I in our marital bed. He kicked me out for 3 days, burned the bed, let me come home and decided he'd give a second chance. We've been together 22 years, married 21, with 3 children, 13 and 10 boys, 7 girl. I'll spare the specifics. If you're interested in knowing our story, just check my post history. January 1st was our anniversary and we spent the weekend connecting on a level we'd not done our entire marriage. It was an interesting weekend to say the least. We talked a lot about what had changed in us the prior 7 months after D-Day. Keep in mind, we'd both been doing IC and MC every week since. This was the first real time we'd sat down and talked with no mediator. And I had to come to grips with how much I truly hurt him. We held nothing back, and pulled no punches, and yes, it was painful hearing him say that he'll never see me the same way again, but he did tell me he still loves me, and he's still in love with me, and that January 1st, 2022 will be our 2nd anniversary of our new marriage, one built on transparency and honesty. Another topic came up over the weekend as well, one I feared would come, but knew was unavoidable. By his own accord, my husband opted not to tell any of my family of my affair, and he told me not to tell them either. In my family, I'm the angel, the darling daughter who could do no wrong, and I come a traditional Southern Christian upbringing. Suffice to say, no one in my family is going to take it well. I'm 40 years old and still fear the reaction of my mother and father. But after some soul searching between us both, we've decided the time has come for me to face the music. We can't continue to move forward with the reconciliation without the truth being known to all. As of now, the only people who know of my infidelity are me, my husband, my best friend, who I stayed with when he kicked me out, his parents, who he told the day of, and of course my AP, who has long since been out of the picture. We also decided we would tell our children as well. We're sure they've noticed the tension between us over the last few months, especially our oldest. It's time they know, so we can teach them that my actions were wrong, and they may learn from my poor choices and not repeat them. We're going to have the talk with the kids tonight after dinner, and tell my parents when we go see them this coming weekend. I don't have to tell you that I'm terrified of this. It's my cross to bear. I know, I betrayed my husband in one of the worst possible ways, so I have no right to back away from this penance, but I'm still scared of what the outcome will be. My parents love my husband, he's like the son my father never had, as I have 3 sisters and no brothers. Just the idea of their disappointment is tearing me up, and forget about my sisters, especially my oldest. They're definitely not going to be kind. I know they all love me, and their heartbreak and harshness will come from a place of love, but unearthing this to them is going to be rough. Still, it has to be done for us to move forward, and my husband will be right by my side, holding my hand. He said he would, as I do. I'm not looking for any kind of advice or anything, I just needed to get this out into the ether. I know there's a few folk out there invested in our story and rooting for our success. This is just another step in that long process for me to help him heal, and to heal myself. Thank you for reading if you did. Quit edit. We're not going to tell the kids the whole details. They know that things have been rough between us. We're just going to sit them down and tell them that we're both going through a difficult time, and that we're sorry if the way we've acted in the last few months have made them sad or uncomfortable, that we're trying to work what's happening out between us, and that we will all be okay. Edit 2. After further discussion we did a 180 on the decision somewhat. We got the kids together and I told them that I had done something to hurt their father months ago, and that's the reason why we had been acting weird around each other, as our 10-year-old would say. We assured them that everything was going to be fine, and told them even grown-ups can make bad choices. There weren't many questions from them as they generally understood, so that hurdle is done. We've also decided that as far as telling my folks, seeing as we seem to be heading in the right direction as far as rebuilding our marriage, it's perhaps best to keep my affair between us. I'm the one who more or less pushed for telling them, because my guilt is still getting the better of me. Oh, saw some of your comments and had second thoughts about do it, and he's managed to convince me it's not needed. Small update. I showed the resounding response to this post in regards to reporting my affair to my former employer. After an hour or so discussion, I've decided I'm going to do it. It's going to let a major cat out of the bag, and probably ruin my chances of ever going back to my old company, but it's a cross I'll just have to bear. Also, one person asked, did I ever have intention of ever going back to work regardless? The answer is no. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 7 months since I resigned, and I've come to enjoy it. I get to be around my kids a lot more, as well as it's nice not having to schedule spending time with each other based on the 4-hour window we had of free time between our individual work schedules. Comments. Or do you not trust yourself? You obviously can't be trusted, whoring around on a man that obviously loves you more than you will ever love him. The affair is bad, nothing worse could be done to your supposed love of your life, but yet you found a way to make it hurt more. You sleep with the AP in your marital bed. How could you conceive this idea as being okay? Was it the kink of it? How bad of a person must you be to want to do that to him? That shows him how little you love him/respect him, not only the bed but your family's home period. I don't get it. Must be in post-affair fog of his own to take you back. Even his infidelity after finding you out will never meet the same level of disrespect you showed him. They are empty actions for revenge on his part, mostly because they are expected, not blindsided by your love to total shock and appending. Oh, I see you read these messages. I hope you find in yourself to leave her. She is a vile human with no respect for you. What she's showing is remorse. Had you not walked in on them, this would still be going on. Remember, she loved having him inside her. She kept going back for more and you were nothing but an obstacle for her, part of her taboo, the thrill of running around on you. The potential of getting caught, that's what you were. You meant nothing to her for the duration of this affair. Her remorse is based on being caught. Had never been caught, AP would still be blowing loads inside her. Oh, I'm being harsh here but honest, yes, disrespectful to her, but it has to be said. You love her, I commend you for that, but the woman you loved is gone. This woman that looks like your wife is there, but she is a totally different person, one you would likely never entertain knowing had you known who and what she was capable of. You are a strong man, you can make it without her. Move on to someone who's not going to disrespect you and your kids in the worst way possible. Good luck, and more power to you in your future, even if it's fighting to stay with her. Again, sorry for my blunt response. Update, this will likely be the last post I make on this account. I've made another actual Reddit account. As in the weeks I've been here, I've found a number of communities I enjoy and want to be a part of, but as far as this side of Reddit, this will be the last chapter of my tale. After this post, I'll leave any further updates to him. I'm dedicating my focus on him. So, if you're not familiar with my story, just go take a look at my post history. 7 months ago, as part of my husband's required stipulations for reconciliation, I resigned from my executive position because my AP was still there. Rather than make him face the music and implicate him, I tucked tail and ran, namely because and my husband Ollie had a confrontation days later. I just wanted to be gone from it all. So 2 weeks ago, Ollie and I spoke about this and we decided we'd address things with my former employer. That Monday, I called my former employer, specifically my former regional manager, to explain the grounds of my resignation. He told me that the HR manager would be notified, and I'd need to provide proof for such an allegation. I went to the office personally to provide this proof, meeting with both of them. After a 2.5-hour meeting explaining why it had taken me 7 months to do so, they informed me they'd alert the Northeast office, where and returned to, and would likely reach out to me later in the week with the Northeast regional manager on the matter. I was also, and expectedly, relieved of my role as consultant for my former assistant, who had taken over my position. That Thursday, the Southeast and Northeast Southeast HRM and I had a video conference, where I shared with the same info I had done. So that Monday, I was told that they had a similar meeting with the previous day. The details of that meeting weren't divulged to me, they just alerted me it had happened. This meeting was a lot shorter, only an hour. They told me they'd review all of the info, and make a decision within a week. Yesterday, I get a call from my former assistant who now knows of what happened of a company-wide executive email sent out, stating that has officially been put on administrative leave due to a violation of company policy. That pretty much means they're in the process of finding and slotting in a replacement before they fire him. So that's the story as of yesterday. To everyone who has had kind, and even not so kind words about me, thank you for your feedback. Ollie has seen a bulk of your responses as well. To the few friends I've made here over all of this, you all know my new account, and I'll continue staying in contact with you all there. As for me and this account, it's time to put it to bed. Farewell, and take care. Comments: I find it instructive to observe what is not said when people tell their stories. This is a very factual and emotionless recitation about a very emotionally charged subject. There's no acknowledgement of any feelings, good or bad, towards the AP. Not many here would believe getting your AP fired is an emotionless experience. I've learned it's prudent to get suspicious when this happens. It's a signal to start paying closer attention and probing that area if you're hearing this as an involved partner. That's one lesson being a BS taught me. Another is if you're not a scumbag yourself, you tend to give others much more credit than they deserve. Last two paragraphs are general comments and not about OP specifically.